few of you people have mentioned that you want to know how I get this really cool chroma key effect. So I figured, why not demonstrate the new Kdenlive 0.9.6 with the Frei0r 14 plugins. And we'll have a look at that right now on Spatry's Cup of Linux. Alright, let's begin. Well, here it is. This is Kdenlive, and this is version 0.9.6. What new features does this bring to the table? Well, not much really in terms of new features. What it does, though, is bring a lot of bug fixes that this had. I noticed that the previous version of Kdenlive did crash quite a bit on me. All the bug fixes, or a link to the page where the bug fixes are, will be in the show notes. Okay, and as you can see here, I have a default layout set up here, but the nice thing about Kdenlive is, if you do a lot of video editing, you can position these panels wherever you want them, so you can have a separate, a project monitor, clip monitor, and I mean, you can put these panels anywhere. I mean, the only limit to this is your imagination. You can pretty much, move your project trees. If you want to keep your clips close to where the timeline is, you could put them all right here, nice and neatly, and then you have room to put other things up on the top. Once you've positioned everything where you want it, then of course you can save that layout by just going into View, Save Layout As, and then you can select one. Now let's say Panels, and just type in the name that you want and press OK. Now the first thing before I start creating any new clips is I like to save the project. So let's go ahead and do that. File, Save As, and I'll select KLR because obviously this is Kdenlive Review. Okay, very good. Alright, so let's go ahead and save that, and I'll replace it. Okay, now you're going to be having a look at what the Frei0r plugins will do. Version 14 is now available in your software repositories if you're running the latest, or if you're running 12.04 of Ubuntu or Linux Mint 13 or later. You should have those Frei0r 14 plugins. If not, there's a link in the show notes where you can get the latest plugins. You will have to compile them and install them so that you can use these. Also, you will need to visit the Kdenlive website where you can get the PPA for installing this latest version, because I don't think this is in the repositories just yet. So you will need the PPA, or you will need to follow the instructions specific to your distribution so that you can get this version installed. This also uses the version 8 Melt framework with it. But if you can get one binary for your system, it's best to use that one because it's compiled with the FFmpeg that your system supports, and that's great for encoding and that sort of thing. Okay, let's go ahead and import some footage. And I have 3 items right here. Okay, and these items that are loading right now, I have a test clip where I want to show you what I did with some older footage that I shot over the weekend, because I wanted to get that perfect chroma key, and so I finally figured out how to do that. Also, I recorded the intro prior to recording this section. I'm going to put the intro together that you just already saw. But let me give you an example of what it is we're going to be doing here in the new version of Kdenlive with the Frei0r 14 plugins. Okay, here is my test clip, and as you will see here, I have a piece of footage that has some shadows on my green backdrop and that sort of thing. I mean, it does not really look that great. Because there's some color variation, so a little bit of a garbagey matte there. But the thing is, with the new Frei0r plugins, I was able to actually do some pretty neat stuff and be able to get a perfect key without the green halo that you see a lot of times on a lot of videos that's out there. Okay, one thing that I like to do first when filming video for chroma key, your big focus is on lighting. And so you want to have 3 or 4 lights up, and that's what I have set up in my room here. Alright, and I also like to record the audio separately from the video. This because I have a high quality mic, and then of course my webcam that is shooting the video of me in front of my green screen, the microphone on that thing is absolutely terrible. So I, have to combine a separate audio source with the video to get exactly what I'm looking for. So let's pull in the video clip first, and then I'm going to pull in the audio clip, and I'm going to put that on the first line. Next, I'm going to right-click on the first clip, and I'm going to select Split Audio. Now, you will notice that I use a clipper, or a clapper. Okay, and this allows me to synchronize my audio. And you can see here where that would be. So let me zoom in on this footage here, and you can see where that mark is. So all I have to do is line that up. And to test that theory, all I have to do is mute this track, press play. Let's see how it works. So it lines up. I could hear it very well. So awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on this clip here and ungroup these clips. I'm going to select the original audio footage and delete it by pressing the delete key. I'm going to press down Control on the keyboard, right-click the video, and right-click the audio, and you'll see both of them are selected. Then Control G, or just pressing Group Clips, will put these together. And then at this point, since I know the audio and video is synchronized, I'm just going to go to right about here, right? Because I want to have a little bit of an overlap from the intro music. And I'm just going to cut this clip, select this, and then press delete. And like the algebra teacher used to always tell us, what you do to one side, you want to do to the other. So let's go ahead and do that here. We'll cut clip, or Shift-R will do that as well. Delete that. Okay, now let's go ahead and move this all the way to the beginning. There's a reason why I use a clapper, and the reason I use that clapper is because I can do a white balance if I want to. So let's go ahead and do this. Selecting this top video here, I can go into Transition, or I'm sorry, Effect List, and press white. And then we have white balance. Okay, and it has already been applied to the clip because it was selected. Now I can just take the eyedropper tool and then just click the white card that I'm holding up on the clapper. And now my video has been white balanced. And then I can just put this up. Okay, now I need to have some footage to work with for doing my chroma key effect. And one thing that I find that works out really, really well is if I use a white background. So let's go ahead and add a color clip. We're going to select white. That will work fine for me. Let's drag this onto the timeline, and then we'll drag it across. This way I can see how well my keying effect is going to work. Okay, and then in the lower right corner of the top video clip, which is here, I'm going to pull this down and then click on this. It says dissolve. I'm going to drag it over, and then up here in the transition field where it says dissolve, we're going to change that to composite. Okay, we don't need that anymore. We can go into our effects list now. We'll take out white here, and then we can select alpha manipulation. And then let's go ahead. You can use blue screen or you can use color selection. They both have the same effect. In previous tutorials, I have already shown you how to use blue screen. So this time around, I'm going to try color selection. So I'm going to go ahead and drag that onto this top clip here. Alright, now we can't see a color to sample yet because we need to invert this first. Alright, so I will go ahead and I will select a color right outside myself. Probably see we got different shades of this green here. So I'm going to want to probably grab a darker color of it. Alright. And then we can adjust the slope a little bit. We will see that it's doing something funky here. So let's go ahead and cancel this. Maybe if we hide the white balance, let's see what that does. Okay, it looks like the white balance we didn't have to do in the first place, so I'm going to take that out entirely. Alright, let's try HCl. Okay, we're starting to see a better result here. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this over. And because there's so much variance with this, I'm going to have to do a second key color. But we could take this one here and try and key this out. Or at least until we get a happy medium somewhere. So let's go ahead and to our effect list and let's grab a blue screen this time. We will key out this next color. Alright, good. We've got a nice key now. But you will see there is a little bit of a halo here. We can fix this. So now let's go into our effect list and let's grab the new Frei0r Key Spill Mop-Up. Now I showed how to, I did a brief tutorial on this in a previous episode, but now I think I've got this down to a science so I can show you the best way to use the Key Spill Mop-Up. And this is a great one for those of you who visit the Kdenlive website that are really having a little bit of difficulty with this. So I'm going to make you all geniuses today on this one. So let's go ahead and pull Key Spill Mop-Up on here. Okay, and now for our key color, the first thing you want to adjust is the key color. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to sample this. Actually, most of the color that was sampled out was from the color selection, which is here. And that's going to be kind of hard to sample this one all the way up here. But the thing is, I have a tool that we need to use. So let me go out of full screen mode, because to use this effect, we need to have the right colors selected. So there's this nice free program called Agave that you'll want to get. Alright, and what I need to do is sample that original color. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that color here. Okay. You're going to notice that it's going to give me the complementary colors. You can select triads, you can select any number of colors here. But I need the complementary color, or the exact opposite, on the color spectrum. We all know on the color spectrum that yellow and blue makes green. So what's the opposite of green? Red. And in this case, so for this particular shade of green that we have here, we're going to be using this as red, or I'm not even sure what that color name is. I need to set this as always on top. Okay. Now that we have that set up here, now let's close this, or minimize this blue screen. And we can change the key color to this, and then the target color. Cancel. Grab the eyedropper. We'll select it to this color, and I can minimize this window. Now the one thing you're going to notice is that the colors are really off whack here. Okay, now one thing that I have learned is you can select some of these other options here, but the color distance one works the best. I know I spent too much time playing with Key Spill Mop-Up, and I wanted to have something that was going to look really nice, so this one does the trick. Take my word for it, folks. And we do not need to adjust any of these settings here: tolerance, slope, hue gate, or saturation. Leave them alone, because we're not even going to use them. Okay, the first operation that we want to adjust is target. Because what we're going to do is we need to neutralize this green color that we just keyed out, and that's what this target value does. And as a matter of fact, the default value is set at 500. We're going to leave it there. How simple is that? But let's have a look here and let's see what that does. So what we can do is we can actually blind out the color selection and the blue screen effect, and you will see that that's exactly what this did. It actually turned it from green to a neutral color. Alright, and the next operation that we're going to apply is desaturate. And we could desaturate this quite a bit, but then I don't want to look like a vampire. We can make the blue screen visible again, and the color selection visible again. Okay, that looks kind of cool. Alright, and then next, let's add some alpha operations so that this jaggedness that you see here can be subdued. And so let's go ahead and into our effect list here, select alpha operations, drag that onto the clip, and let's go ahead with the blur one. I like that. See how it blurs the outside of it and softens it, but that's probably too much of a blur here. So let's go ahead and take this down. And I like to keep it really low, actually. See, because with a 0, you can see it's really jagged, but until that jaggedness kind of disappears. So it looks like we've got a lot of that gone already. Let's shoot that up to maybe 40. Okay, I can live with that. And so now that we know that we've got a fairly good key here, let's go ahead and scrub the timeline a little bit. But I'm pleased with how this looks. So now let's go ahead and take out our clip. And then we can go ahead and import the background that we want to use. Okay, very good. I like that effect. Let's save it, because now I have the video that you're watching right now, well, it's still being recorded right now, and it's using the same exact background this is on. So I need to save this so that when I pull this footage into my computer, I can just drag and drop this onto the clip without spending all this time making it. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go into, with our video selected, go into Effect List, or Effect Stack, I should say, and let's go ahead and collapse all these. And then with the top one, we're going to say create group. Okay, and then we know the first one was color selection. We're going to drag blue screen into the effect group. Make sure we put color selection on top again. Then key spill mop up. We're going to drag that into the effect group, and we're going to put that beneath blue screen. And then finally alpha operations. We're going to put that at the bottom. I need to put in another effect. That effect is called crop, scale, and position. Go ahead and put this on here. And then with this effect, I can do a lot of things here. I can scale, I can tilt, I can do a lot of other things. Clip the bottom, clip the top, that sort of thing. I can move to a different position if necessary. I still want to keep that centered, but I do want to move this, the Y, to the bottom of the screen. Okay. That looks good. I'm happy with that. Let's go ahead and drag this up here. We'll put that below alpha operations, of course. Okay, and then effect group, we're going to select save group. And let's call this KLE, which is the name of the video that we saved it as. Or KLR, I'm sorry. Alright. Now that that has been saved, now when I bring my next piece of footage in after I'm done recording this, I can start using it. Okay. Let me explain some other functions that you have with this. We've already saved our group and that sort of thing. When we go to render this, there's a render button on your screen somewhere. When you press rendering, what I usually do for YouTube is I render to PAL 720 at 25 frames per second. And because I have a quad-core machine, I encode at 4 threads. Now, when you're encoding chroma key, it only uses up 1 thread. So I always pre-render all of my chroma key scenes first before piecing the entire video together. So, for instance, any clips that I have with chroma keying are done separately, and then I put, with me on top of the footage and that sort of thing, and those are rendered into clips, and then I save them for a later time, and then I'll piece all of it together, where it can then render the entire video using all 4 threads. That was one little trick that I discovered, anyway. Okay, so these are the settings that I usually use for threads and then render to file. I'm going to go ahead and close this. Okay, you have lots of other options that this does for you. For instance, if you need any special clips or footage off the internet, you can download those off the internet. If you want new wipes or dissolves, you can get them here. Let's go ahead and click on this and I'll show you. You can get some new wipes. And these are transitions that you can apply. You can get new rendering profiles. So let's say you want to get a YouTube profile. You will see that they have YouTube rendering profiles ready for you to use to give you the best possible quality. But I personally find the method that I use, creating an M2T file, works great for me, but you have these options available to you if you want to try them out. You can also get other footage off the internet as well. I don't remember where that is because really I don't use that function because I create all of my own content. Well, I know where I can get that. I can just go into my toolbar here, configure the toolbar. I know they have it in here. It's called Online Resources. Let me add this to the toolbar so I can show it to you. It's in the menu somewhere, but I couldn't figure out where that was. So at any rate, here's Online Resources, and then from here you can get audios, you can get clip art and that sort of thing just by doing a search. So you got banners that you can download and put into your clips. Let's go ahead and go to Free Sound Audio Library. Let's see if we got a dog barking. And of course they have them. They have all kinds of audio. You can preview them and then you can import the footage if you want to. So it's all there. But personally, I don't really use this function because I generate all of my own content for my shows. But all in all, this is a comprehensive video editing suite. OpenShot's really good for beginners, but I think this is even better because, you know, it's easy to grasp in the beginning, and you can always, you know, pick up more of the advanced options as you go later on down the line. Well, that's all I have on this. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me, and I'll try my best to answer them where Kdenlive is concerned. Also, I'll drop a link in the show notes to the documentation that's available, because everything that I've learned in Kdenlive is covered in the documentation, but most importantly, experimentation is key.